And now it's time for your gay history lesson. Today's gay history lesson is all about how a church turned into an iconic New York City gay nightclub, the start of the club kid, dancing, drinks, drugs, crazy stories, and even murder. That's right. This week we are discussing the infamous Limelight nightclub of New York. Peter Gatien opened the first Limelight nightclub in Hollandale, Florida in the 1970s. And then following a devastating fire in Florida, Gatien chose Atlanta for his next incarnation of the club. The Atlanta Limelight opened in February of 1980. It was housed in a strip mall at the former site of the Harlequin Dinner Theater. Now, the Limelight in Atlanta was a high-profile Euro-style nightclub that hosted many notables and celebrities over all of the years. And then a single photo taken in June of 1981 skyrocketed the focus of the club when a celebrity photographer captured an image of Anita Bryant, who was known for supporting anti-gay rights her whole life. She was dancing the night away with Russ McGraw, who was a known gay activist in the community. So several hundreds of newspapers and magazines ran the photo, and Peter Gatien relished the publicity. The club hosted events that brought in names like Andy Warhol, Grace Jones, and even the Village People, to name a few. There were celebrity sightings. You could see Tom Cruise, Pia Zadora, Shannon Tweed, Gene Simmons of Kiss, Rick Springfield, and tons of other famous people. In 1993, when Gatien relocated to New York City and opened another Limelight club, his brother Maurice managed the Atlanta Club. The Atlanta Club was located next to a 24-hour Kroger grocery store, which became known as the Disco Kroger. I love that story. In Dallas, we had a Kroger down the street from the neighborhood, and we called that the Crazy Kroger. And that's crazy with a K. In addition to Atlanta and New York, they also opened a Limelight in Chicago and one in London as well. The most significantly and most famous of all the Limelight locations, however, was in New York City, the New York City Club. It opened in November of 1983 in a church building that was a former Episcopal Church of the Holy Communion. It was a Gothic Revival brownstone building, which was built in 1844 through 1845. And it looks like a little mini cathedral. So they turned this cathedral into a nightclub. Could you imagine the inside with all those huge cathedral windows? It probably was a sight to see. Now, the New York Limelight originally started as a disco and rock club, but in the 1990s, it became a more prominent place to hear techno, goth, and industrial music. It earned the media's attention, though, in 1996 when a club kid and party promoter, Michael Allig, was arrested and later convicted for the killing and dismemberment of Angel Melendez, a fellow member of the club kids and a drug dealer who frequented the club. So there was murder at this club. Well, maybe not at the club, but murder surrounding the club. Now, I don't know if you've ever seen the 2003 biopic movie called Party Monster, which is starring Macaulay Culkin and Seth Green. It was based on this event, okay? All right, the Limelight was then closed by the police and subsequently reopened several times during the 1990s. In September of 2003, it reopened under the name Avalon. However, it closed its doors permanently in 2007. And since then, the building has been used as a Limelight marketplace. It was converted into a gym chain called David Burton Gym. But in December of 2016, the entire gym chain closed, including that location. And in June of 2017, it reopened as Limelight Fitness. Now, if you want to learn more about the infamous Limelight Knife Club and to see all the articles that we used in this segment, please visit the Out of the Closet Podcast website at outoftheclosetpodcast.com. And that's your gay history lesson for this week. Tune in for our next episode for an all-new lesson where we'll learn about the icon of gay culture, actress, singer, and activist, Judy Garland. Yes, that's right. So you won't want to miss out on that. It's going to be Wizard of Oz excitement, singing, Broadway, musicals. So listen and you may learn something new, and know that the best student in the class gets an all expenses paid trip to the Emerald City and a pair of red sequin heels to click. Woo! Guys, well, this is the official close to this episode of the Out of the Closet podcast/vodcast. Thank you all so much for listening and or watching. I really, honestly appreciate your support. I want to thank all of our guests that joined us today. Thank you to the Urban Medicine Man, our CBD expert and founder of One CBD, Ty Burgess. One CBD offers a special listener discount, okay, for all of the Out of the Closet podcast listeners out there. So just use promo code OUT. Okay, so when you go to onecbd.com to purchase your CBD products, just use the promo code OUT, O-U-T, for a special discount just for you. And a massive thank you to all of our sponsors, including One CBD. All of our sponsors are either gay-owned or gay-friendly, and I highly encourage you to go check them all out. Please check them out on our website at outoftheclosetpodcast.com. We also have a list of listener discounts there, so you can find that information out as well. And if you have any questions about the show, if you want to advertise on the show, you can email me at andrew@outoftheclosetpodcast.com. You can advertise on this show for less than the cost of a skin-tight, all-latex BDSM bodysuit. So let's face it, it's cheap, it's affordable, and it supports this gay-owned podcast. Thank you so much. For all things Out of the Closet Podcast and to see videos from today's show, log on to outoftheclosetpodcast.com. You can subscribe to our YouTube channel by searching for Out of the Closet Podcast with me, your host, Andrew Pettke. That's Pettke. All right, you can log on there and you can follow our shows on Insta. We're on Twitter. We're on Facebook. Just search for Podcast OOTC. All right. And if you have any advertising questions, like I said, just reach out to me anytime. Shoot me a message on any of our social media. I would love to hear from you for sure. All right. Now, just so you know, next week, we are going to be rebroadcasting episode 1 of the Out of the Closet podcast. We have LGBT Outdoors founders Justin Yoder and Patrick Thompson on the show. So I want to replay that one in case you missed it. It was our very first episode. So you'll tune in that week for that one. And then tune in on May 19th for the next new episode of Out of the Closet podcast. In the meantime, you can listen and watch all of our podcasts, including previous episodes, more gay history lessons, and a ton of other fun stuff online at our website. I'll mention it one more time. Sorry. outoftheclosetpodcast.com. Thank you all for listening and spreading the word about this podcast. If you just tell one person, I'm so appreciative. So thank you so much. Just remember to be safe, be proud, and always strive to be the most true version of yourself. Can I get an amen? Woo! Have a great day. Have a good week. Woo! Hey, it's Andrew. Do you have a business or a service that you would like to advertise on the Out of the Closet podcast? Well, if you do, I'd love for you to become a sponsor of the show. We can get your business in front of our amazing LGBTQAI+ and ally listeners who can't wait to hear all about your company. Plus, it's really super affordable. Right now, you can be included on 4 podcasts for just $250. Want to get started? Email me at andrew@outoftheclosetpodcast.com. Thank you. Hello to all my Out of the Closet podcast family. I don't want to beg and I don't want to come off as needy, but the Out of the Closet podcast only exists because of listeners like you, and I really need your support. Any financial support you can do would be amazing and greatly appreciated. Whether it's $5, an ongoing monthly contribution, or if you just want to hand over your total inheritance and put me in the will, that's fine too. Anyway, it's really easy to do. Just go to outoftheclosetpodcast.com and click the support tab. Thank you so much for supporting the Out of the Closet podcast.